The man who just won the pole position did not celebrate a masterclass. Instead, Denny Hamlin looked into the cameras and admitted, "I got extremely lucky." He edged Kyle Larson by a single thousandth of a second at Chicagoland Speedway, took over the championship lead for the first time all season, and still told the world that anyone who ran after him should have beaten him. The final margin was 0.001 seconds. That is the smallest gap the timing system can measure, and it decided the pole for Sunday's eero 400. Denny Hamlin turned a lap of 30.296 seconds at 178.241 miles per hour. Kyle Larson answered with 30.297 seconds at 178.235 miles per hour in his number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. One car, 1,000th of a second. And the front row was set. If you enjoy detailed NASCAR coverage like this, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, tap the like button, and leave a comment down below. It genuinely helps the channel grow, and we want to hear who you think wins on Sunday. This weekend carries extra weight because the NASCAR Cup Series is returning to Chicagoland Speedway for the first time since 2019. A 7-year absence. Sunday's eero 400 is scheduled for 6 p.m. Eastern Time and will be televised on TNT. For a racing region that has waited a long time to see Cup cars back on this 1.5-mile oval in Joliet, Illinois, the anticipation is real. Now to the qualifying lap itself, because the story is stranger than the result. Denny Hamlin ran early in the qualifying order, while Kyle Larson ran much later and still came up just 0.001 seconds short. Ordinarily, running early is a disadvantage on a track that speeds up as it cools. Denny Hamlin knew this, and he explained exactly why he believes he benefited from something outside his control. The track surface at Chicagoland Speedway is extremely temperature sensitive, and the last group of cars ran under changing sky conditions. "We got very fortunate that the last 12 cars had full sun, 100% sun," said Denny Hamlin. "The last few had probably like 90%, but that was, I think, the deciding factor. As we saw right after I went, the track, it definitely got hotter, and it seemed like the corner speeds of those guys started to slow down." He went even further, pointing to the very last driver on track. Denny Hamlin said that if there had been one more car behind final qualifier Ty Gibbs, that driver likely would have beaten him, because by then, the track had gone into full shade and speeds were climbing again. Then came the line that summed up his weekend. "I'm the Chicago Master, what can I say?" he said with a laugh, yet even as he embraced the nickname, he refused to oversell the performance. "I'll be honest with you, I got extremely lucky," said Denny Hamlin. "Anyone that goes out right now beats me. I'm very confident in that." He added that his stated goal for the session had only been to qualify 12th. The qualifying order tells the rest of the story. Riley Herbst set the early benchmark at 30.576 seconds. His 23XI Racing teammate Tyler Reddick then went quicker with a lap of 30.523 seconds. Another 23XI Racing driver, Bubba Wallace, briefly moved to the top with a 30.420 second effort, before his team owner, Denny Hamlin, went out next and beat him with the 30.296 second benchmark that would hold. There was also drama on track, as Cody Ware got into the wall at the exit of Turn 2 and had to abandon his lap without posting a time. The pole carries real historical significance for Denny Hamlin. It was his 4th pole of the 2026 season and the 52nd of his career, breaking a tie with Ryan Newman for 9th on the all-time NASCAR list. It was also his 3rd straight pole on an oval track, following his poles at Michigan International Speedway and Pocono Raceway. On top of that, Denny Hamlin is now the only driver ever to win poles at both Chicagoland Speedway and the downtown Chicago street course, where he started first back in 2023. The bigger picture is even more striking. Denny Hamlin has not been beaten in a full-length oval race in roughly 2 months. During that stretch, he won at Nashville Superspeedway, Michigan International Speedway, and Pocono Raceway. And that run at Pocono Raceway completed the first ever 3-race win streak of his Hall of Fame career. He is doing this at 45 years old, in his 21st full-time season as a Cup Series driver, and he is on pace to set a new career high in laps led by a sizable margin. All of that oval dominance has produced a milestone that seemed unlikely earlier in the year. Denny Hamlin is now the NASCAR Cup Series points leader for the first time all season, holding a 1-point lead over Tyler Reddick. That gap looks small until you remember where the season started. Tyler Reddick began 2026 with a 3-race win streak and once held a commanding lead of 129 points. That advantage has now completely evaporated and turned into a deficit, and after the playoff reset, the difference between first and second in the standings is worth 25 points, which means the current 1-point gap represents a much larger swing. This year, NASCAR has returned to the chase format that it used from 2004 through 2013, in which the top 16 drivers in the point standings make the postseason and the champion is decided over the final 10 races. Denny Hamlin believes this structure gives him a genuine chance at the title that has eluded him. "I certainly feel like the destination of where you want to go is more in your hands. The sample size is bigger," said Denny Hamlin. He also offered a memorable description of the competitive landscape, saying he feels like he is racing against his own approach. "I feel like I'm racing myself, truthfully, because, I've given those guys so many plays out of the playbook, and I'm racing against it," said Denny Hamlin. Their cars are really, really fast, and that's what's going to make this fun down the stretch is that, we know we're all equal. It's just a matter of who can go out there and execute. Saturday's work was not finished when qualifying ended, because pre-race inspection produced penalties for 2 drivers. Kyle Larson saw his number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet fail inspection twice before passing on the 3rd attempt. As a result, car chief Jesse Saunders was ejected for the remainder of the weekend, and the team lost pit stall selection. That penalty stings more than usual, because Kyle Larson qualified on the outside of the front row and would otherwise have had an excellent pit stall. Importantly, he was still allowed to qualify and keeps his starting position. The situation was far worse for Michael McDowell. His number 71 Spire Motorsports Chevrolet failed inspection 3 times before finally passing on the 4th attempt. Because of the repeated failures, NASCAR ruled that Michael McDowell would not be permitted to make a qualifying lap at all. He will start Sunday's race from 38th, which is last. He will forfeit pit stall selection, and he must serve a pass-through penalty under green after the race begins. His car chief, Travis Young, was ejected for the rest of the weekend. The timing is difficult, because Michael McDowell entered Chicagoland Speedway sitting 21st in the standings, below the provisional chase cut line. The second most compelling storyline of the weekend belongs to Kyle Larson. He is chasing a 42-race winless drought that dates back to his victory at Kansas Speedway in May 2025. Yet few tracks suit him better than this one. Kyle Larson owns the best average finish in Chicagoland Speedway history among drivers with multiple starts at 6.17, and he finished as runner-up in both of the track's most recent races, losing to Kyle Busch in 2018 and to Alex Bowman in 2019. There is an emotional layer to his return as well. Before testing at the track in April, and again ahead of this weekend, Kyle Larson re-watched his famous last-lap duel with Kyle Busch from 2018. Kyle Busch died in May at the age of 41, and Kyle Larson said the footage means something different to him now. "It was a really neat battle, and it's always fun to be a part of battles that still to this day get replayed, and I've been a part of a few," said Kyle Larson. "So yeah, just wish he was here for obvious reasons, and we could have another battle." There is also a valuable prize on the line inside the race. The NASCAR In-Season Challenge has reached its 2nd round, and Kyle Larson is matched against his Hendrick Motorsports teammate William Byron, with the eventual winner of the 5-race bracket receiving $1 million. Denny Hamlin, who is the number 2 seed and the top remaining seed in the bracket, faces Eric Jones, who qualified 22nd. The full top 10 starting lineup for Sunday reads as follows: Denny Hamlin on the pole, followed by Kyle Larson, then Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, Ty Gibbs, Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, Bubba Wallace, Chase Elliott, and William Byron. Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing produced a strong result, placing both Chris Buescher and Brad Keselowski inside the top 4, the first time the organization had qualified 2 cars in the top 5 since Darlington in May 2024. Brad Keselowski carries a notable distinction, as he is the only driver in the field with multiple victories at Chicagoland Speedway. Toyota showed its strength across the board with 5 cars inside the top 8, while reigning Cup Series champion Joey Logano will have work to do after qualifying 31st. Beyond Sunday, a larger question hangs over the weekend, whether this return to Joliet will be a one-time event. With talk of a downtown Chicago street race returning in 2027, the future of the oval on the schedule is uncertain. Chase Briscoe, a native of Mitchell, Indiana, made it clear he hopes the track stays. "I love coming back home, essentially," said Chase Briscoe. "It's in the Midwest. I hope we can continue to come here. I love this track and always have. Hopefully, it's an amazing race, and the fans turn out so we can keep coming back." He even floated the idea of running both a street race and a race at Chicagoland Speedway. Austin Dillon, who qualified 25th, described the venue as a track with a lot of character and said he would love to keep returning. Denny Hamlin framed the decision in terms of importance to the sport. He said getting Chicago right matters for NASCAR and its footprint in the region, and he predicted the venue would make its own case on Sunday. "This track is going to race so well that it will be hard to say, let's go back and take it off the schedule," said Denny Hamlin, so the picture heading into the eero 400 is remarkable. Denny Hamlin produced the closest qualifying margin of the entire 2026 season, moved into the championship lead for the first time all year, and yet openly credited luck rather than skill for the pole. Kyle Larson starts alongside him carrying a 42 race drought, a track he has nearly conquered before, and the memory of a lost rival. The question that will define Sunday night is a simple one, and it is the one everyone in the garage is asking. After 2 months without losing on an oval, can anyone finally beat Denny Hamlin?